Rain pounded the windshield in icy rhythm. Neon streetlights blurred behind trembling wipers. Lila Moreno's breath misted inside the car. Her heart hammered like a warning drum. Every thunderclap echoed around empty sidewalks. She gripped the leather seat, knuckles white. Feet trembled on the wet floor mat. A distant siren wailed through the storm. Lila's phone screen glowed with a single message. "He's watching you." Her pulse spiked at every shadowy silhouette. The GPS took a sudden detour. Lila's jaw clenched as the street turned unfamiliar. Neon signs flickered above boarded stores. Tires sprayed water onto cracked pavement. She sensed eyes behind the rearview mirror. No other cars dared slice through the rain. Lightning flared. Above a silent skyline, a black SUV emerged from a side alley. Its headlights pierced the downpour like blades. The Uber badge on his mirror wobbled. She swallowed hard against rising dread. His calm voice cut through static. "Need help with directions?" Lila froze. Words tangled in her throat. Her phone vibrated with an unknown number. She ignored it, trusting the app. "Almost there," he repeated softly. His accent held a strange elegance. She scanned his features in the mirror. High cheekbones and an unfamiliar gentleness. Why did his gaze feel so personal? Rain dripped from his dark hair. Every drop glistened like a hidden jewel. He tapped the steering wheel in silence. Outside, the city swallowed her whole. She tightened her scarf against the chill. A flash of movement at the curb startled her. A silhouette dashed into the car's blind spot. Her breath hitched in her chest. He glanced back with steady blue eyes. "Are you all right?" he asked. Lila hesitated, mind racing. The city felt alive with threats. A heavy thud rattled the trunk. Her grip on the door handle trembled. He parked under a dim street lamp. Water pooled around the tires like ink. He reached across the seat to steady her. His touch was cool, deliberate, reassuring. A distant shout cut through the storm. She flinched, voice lost in her fear. He opened the door with a click. Rain washed over him in silver streams. He held out a hand, palm open. "Trust me," he murmured. The alley behind him loomed like a tunnel. Footsteps splashed closer in the dark. Lila's heart threatened to burst. Thunder cracked overhead like a whip. His gaze held a secret she craved. She placed her hand in his. His palm was firm, warm against the cold. Together they stepped into the unknown. Wind howled between metal walls. Her coat billowed like a sail. He paused at a battered door. A brass crown emblem glinted at his chest. She blinked, confused by the strange crest. He pressed a hidden latch. The door swung open silently. A faint glow spilled onto wet cobblestones. Lila gasped at the mansion. Beyond, turrets rose into the stormy sky. Lightning illuminated ornate gargoyles. A single heraldic flag whipped overhead. She stumbled forward, rain soaking her hair. His hand guided her through the grand archway. Silence fell like a blanket around them. Velvet rugs absorbed their dripping. Footsteps, candles flickered in gilded sconces. Marble pillars soared toward vaulted ceilings. Her breath caught in awed disbelief. He closed the door behind them. Rain beat hushed instantly to a whisper. He turned, eyes serious, voice hushed. "You're safe now, princess." Her chest tightened with shock. "Princess," she whispered, voice trembling. He removed his hood with solemn grace. Droplets fell like tears onto his robes. Gold embroidery traced a royal crest. His gaze met hers with quiet intensity. "Not Uber," he said softly. Her heart lurched in sudden wonder. The storm outside raged unanswered. A single chord of distant music played. Lila stood frozen between two worlds. Thunder trembled through the palace walls. He stepped closer, hands still extended. Her future trembled on the edge of revelation. A royal secret waited in the shadows, and the crown's weight pressed on her soul. Lila Moreno lived alone in a cozy Brooklyn brownstone. She brewed coffee each morning at 6:30 sharp. Her kitchen smelled of cinnamon and fresh toast. She worked as a paralegal for a small firm. Her cubicle sat beneath framed law school diplomas. Her mother, Rosa, lived in Queens. They spoke every night about daily troubles. Lila's younger brother, Marco, studied marine biology. He called her for homework advice. She loved game nights at their childhood home. Their father passed away 5 years ago. She wore his silver watch every day. Each tick reminded her of his steady guidance. Her best friend, Jenna Bates, lived down the hall. They shared takeout and late-night TV binges. Jenna teased Lila about Her strict routines, "You need more chaos." She often laughed, but Lila craved order after losing her dad. Her apartment walls displayed travel photos. They showed sunlit cafes in Paris. She dreamed of seeing the Louvre. Her nights ended with old vinyl records. Ella Fitzgerald's voice soothed her doubts, but lately her sleep felt restless. Shadows crept across her ceiling each dawn. She blamed paper deadlines and tight cases. Still, she held hope for better days. She saved every penny for a vacation. She imagined walking cobblestone streets in Rome. Her calendar marked vacation fund in red. At work, her boss, Mr. Caldwell, admired her diligence. He often slid files across her desk. "Great work, Lila," he'd say with a smile. Her cheeks flushed at small praise. Her co-workers nicknamed her Steady Moreno. They joked she never missed a deadline, yet she longed for unpredictability, excitement, change. Her heart fluttered at the memory of that night. The strange driver's eyes haunted her mind. She replayed his words in low whispers. He said, "I'm safe, princess." She laughed softly at the absurd image. A crowned prince felt like a fairy tale. Still, a chill ran down her spine. Brooklyn's summer air grew thick at noon. She stepped onto the fire escape for lunch. The city buzzed below with car horns. She felt both alone and alive. Her phone buzzed with Jenna's selfie. Lunch break, avocado toast. The message, "Read." Lila typed a quick "Be there in 5." She closed her file folder with a sigh. Her heart skipped when she remembered the emblem, a brass crown, on a hidden door. No Uber driver wore crowns. She dismissed the thought no royal secret existed, yet her rational mind felt shaken. That night, she scrolled royal watch forums. She found no prince matching his face. She grew uneasy at her own obsession. She told herself to move on, but curiosity burned like embers in her chest. She carried that ember to her cubicle. Mr. Caldwell assigned her a new case. A wealthy client contested a trust fund. The files felt heavy with secrets. Lila's fingers trembled as she reviewed them. She glanced at the clock, 3:47 p.m. Her phone glowed again with an unknown number. She ignored it, heart racing. Outside the window, cranes built new towers, symbols of chance and transformation. She longed for change. She glanced at a framed photo on her desk. Her father, smiling beside her on graduation day, his eyes full of pride and love. She tapped the frame, whispering, "I wish I knew next." Steps, a breeze rattled the slightly open window. She froze, heart pounding. A dark bee flew inside, circling her head. She ducked under her desk as Jenna burst in. "Sorry, I scared you. It's just me." Jenna held 2 steaming avocado toasts. Lila laughed nervously. She rose, brushing crumbs off her skirt. They ate on the fire escape together. Jenna pointed to the skyline. "Imagine living up there, overlooking it all." Lila stared at distant rooftops. Her thoughts drifted back to that hidden door. She realized ordinary life felt fragile now. Her pulse beat with new questions. What did he mean by princess? What secret lay behind that crown door? She closed her eyes against wind and worry. Her mind replayed his solemn promise. "You're safe now." Safe from what? Her lunch ended quietly. Jenna nudged her shoulder. "Earth to Lila you look." Haunted, Lila forced a smile. "I'm fine, just tired." Jenna studied her face with concern. "Call me if you need anything." Lila nodded, heart heavy. Jenna left as traffic roared below. Lila lingered on the fire escape. Brooklyn's sun dipped behind grey clouds. She felt the weight of an unseen crown. Her phone chimed again 3 missed calls, all from the same unknown number. She stared at the screen, breath steadying. A mystery lay waiting in her life, and she couldn't turn away. Asterisk, asterisk. Lila arrived at her apartment door late that evening. Her mailbox clicked as she slid in her key. Inside, a cream envelope waited on the welcome mat. No return address, just a wax seal. The seal bore the same brass crown emblem. Her breath caught. In a sudden hush, she broke the seal with trembling fingers. Inside lay a single, thick document. Her name, handwritten in gilded ink. She unfolded the letter under warm lamplight. The paper smelled faintly of cedar wood. "To Princess Lila Moreno," it began. She blinked at that impossible title. Her pulse hammered against her ribs. The letter explained an unexpected inheritance. A European estate, crown rights included. She laughed in disbelief at her desk. Inheritance, crown rights. Those belonged in fairy tales. She read on, voice barely. A whisper, a summons to Castle Briar Meadow. Texas, yes, Texas, not Europe. A modern royal house, centuries old. Her father's side she thought silent forever. The letter warned of looming threats. Hidden enemies sought her birthright. A safe escort would meet her at dawn. Her cheeks warmed with shock and fear. She reread the line about escort. Trust no one but your guide. Her mind swirled with disbelief. Could this be a cruel prank, or a hidden truth finally revealed? She searched online for Castle Briar. Maps showed a sprawling ranch near El Paso. Photos glowed with sunrise over red cliffs. She stared at the desert horizon. Could the crown prince really need her help? Her phone buzzed with Jenna's text. You okay? Everything sound royal. Lila typed back. I need sleep. She lay awake in bed, mind racing. Moonlight slanted through louvered blinds. Her father's watch ticked on the nightstand. She traced its face, seeking guidance. She thought of the hidden door that night. She thought of his calm, blue eyes. A low groan echoed outside her window. She stared into darkness, fear flickering. Morning came too soon. Lila pulled on jeans and a sweater. A black sedan waited at the curb, the same ebony finish from her nightmare ride. Its windows were tinted, opaque. A tall man in charcoal suit opened the rear door. He bowed, voice steady. Princess Moreno. She hesitated, breath shallow. He extended a gloved hand. Your escort. She slid inside the silent car. The engine purred like a resting beast. They drove west toward the desert. Streetlights gave way to open highways. She watched suburbs fade into scrubland. Her escort handed her bottled water. No questions, just quiet determination. She sipped, studying his profile. His jaw was firm, posture impeccable. A hidden scar marked his temple. He caught her gaze. In the rear view, questions later, he said softly. Her heart fluttered in uneasy relief. They passed the border checkpoints swiftly. Her escort nodded to the guard. No issues, the guard replied. They sped into dusty plains. Lila felt the weight of destiny. Her phone buzzed with a missed call. Unknown number, same as last night. She silenced it without regret. The road stretched before them like steel. A distant ridge rose against pale sky. Castle turrets peaked above sandstone bluffs. Her breath caught at their silhouette. She leaned forward in anticipation. They turned onto a gravel drive. The sedan rattled over loose stones. A rotine gate swung open silently. Ancient oaks lined a shaded lane. They parked before massive wooden doors. Her escort guided her inside. A grand foyer awaited in candlelight. Rich tapestries adorned stone walls. A regal hush filled the air. Footsteps approached down a marble hall. A figure emerged in tailored suit. His dark hair swept elegantly sideways. His voice echoed warm and low. Welcome home, Princess Moreno. Lila's breath froze in her lungs. Her heart thundered with equal parts fear and wonder. A final question burned on her lips. Who truly stood behind that crown? And were they friend or foe? Asterisk, asterisk. Lila woke to distant hoofbeats on stone courtyard. Morning light filtered through stained glass windows. Her escort met her at breakfast, eyes guarded. She sipped tea as birds chirped outside. A tablet lay beside her plate. Its screen displayed grainy surveillance footage. A cloaked figure watched her from palace walls. Her pulse raced at each shadowy frame. She swallowed hard against rising dread. Her escort folded away the tablet. We have eyes everywhere, he said. Footsteps echoed down the hall behind them. A tall guard saluted crisply. Princess, your first counsel awaits. Lila rose, knees unsteady. They walked through echoing marble corridors. Portraits of ancestors lined the walls. She studied each stern face. They entered a dimly lit chamber. 8 advisors bowed in unison. One spoke in clipped tones. Your Highness, threats escalate. Daily, he unfurled a map of the estate. Red pins marked recent break-ins. Another advisor added, a rival branch claims your rights. Lila's hands trembled on the map. She blinked under their intense gazes. A hush settled like dust. An advisor whispered urgently. Encrypted letters arrived last night. Her escort produced a sealed packet. Lila's heart thumped as she broke it. Inside, blood-red ink spelled, a warning, step down or die in moonlight. She glanced at each advisor in turn. Their faces were unreadable masks. Her escort placed a steady hand on her back. We'll uncover the sender, he vowed. Outside, thunder rolled over distant. Hills. Lila excused herself, breath ragged. She hurried down a narrow passage. One torch flickered along damp stone. A hidden door creaked open beside her. Her escort emerged from darkness. He handed her a small pistol. For protection, he said softly. Her fingers grazed its cool metal. She felt both power and fear. They climbed a spiral staircase together. Above, a rooftop terrace awaited. Wind whipped desert dust around them. She peered over the parapet at the plains. Sunrise painted the sky in gold. He pointed to distant scribbles on cliffs. Ancient glyphs resembled the crown emblem. Your ancestors left secrets here, he explained. Her heart quickened at the mystery. They descended to a hidden courtyard below. Statues of past monarchs loomed overhead. Her escort examined cracks in the stone floor. He pressed a glyph-shaped tile. A trapdoor gave way with a groan. They slipped inside, torches alight. A spiral tunnel led deep below. The air smelled of earth and secrecy. At its end, a vault door stood locked. She recognized the same crown crest carved into steel. Her escort produced 2 matching keys. Lila inserted hers, heart pounding. The vault swung open with echoing strength. Inside, dusty archives waited in shelves. Scrolls, letters, and royal seals lay in piles. He handed her a leather-bound journal. This belonged to your grandmother, he said. She opened it with reverence. Its pages detailed the hidden sibling war. A rival cousin sought the crown by force. Her breath hitched as she read alliance lists. Names matched some advisors in the council. Betrayal glinted behind their courteous smiles. A harsh wind howled through the tunnel. She snapped the journal shut. He drew her close in the dim light. Our enemies walk among us, he warned. She swallowed fear and anger alike. A distant rumble shook the vault walls. They rushed outside toward the throne room. Torches blazed along the marble hall. Guards shouted in alarm as doors banged. Smoke curled beneath carved arches. Someone had set fire to the east wing. Lila's chest tightened at the sight. Flames licked ancient tapestries furiously. Her escort drew his pistol with steady hands. She gripped hers, breath-catching. Together they raced toward the inferno. The crown's weight burned on her shoulders, and in the flickering blaze, a silhouette watched. Silence and smoke swallowed the corridor. Lila froze in the choking heat. A whispered threat brushed her ear. You cannot hide from your destiny. Lila staggered into the garage-turned-gym. Concrete floors glistened under fluorescent lights. Her escort handed her a leather training glove. She slipped it on, feeling its weight. He stood across the ring, calm and poised. Focus on your breathing, he instructed. She inhaled slowly, chest rising and falling. The scent of rubber mats filled the air. He demonstrated a simple jab, short, precise. Lila mirrored his motion, arm trembling. Again, he urged with soft firmness, punch after punch. Her knuckles warmed. Her muscles ached with growing power. She stumbled, then steadied her balance. He nodded, approving her progress. Next, they practiced rolls on padded mats. Pain flared as she absorbed the fall. He guided her up with gentle hands. Trust your body, he whispered in her ear. Outside, harsh wind rattled garage doors. She paused, chest heaving with effort. He produced a pair of binoculars. Watch and learn, he said quietly. Through the lens, 2 cloaked riders appeared. They circled the perimeter of the estate. She tensed, heart pounding, eyes sharp. He closed the binoculars, concern in his gaze. Threats grow bolder. He warned. Lila's fists clenched around the glove straps. He led her to a shooting range. Targets lined up against a sandy wall. He handed her a small caliber pistol. Her fingers grazed the cool metal grip. She inhaled, exhaled, then squeezed. The trigger. The shot cracked, echoing in the range. She watched the bullet's impact with awe. Good, he said, voice soft but proud. She felt a spark of confidence ignite. They moved to a makeshift dojo next. Wooden swords gleamed under harsh bulbs. He demonstrated a defensive block swift, and hard. Lila raised her arms, replicating his form. Her muscles burned, sweat shining on skin. Each strike built strength and resolve. He paused, teaching, sharing a quiet secret. In fear, we find knowledge, he said. She listened, curiosity flaring in her eyes. He revealed his past as a royal guard. Danger nearly cost him everything once. Her hand rested on her father's. Watch. I understand loss, she whispered softly. A battered punching bag swayed near them. She approached it with steady determination. Fists flew, releasing pent-up fear and doubt. Each strike echoed her growing courage. He guided her stance, refining her form. Lightning flashed outside the garage windows. She paused, longing for safety and justice. He offered her a water bottle. Drops slipped down her throat. Cool relief. Her reflection shimmered in a dusty mirror. She barely recognized her powerful stance. Her escort placed a hand on her shoulder. "You've come far," he said quietly. She met his steady gaze with resolve. "Thank you," she whispered, voice firm. He hesitated, then added softly, "But threats remain. We must be ready." She squared her shoulders, eyes bright. Together, they stepped back into the storm. ***. Lila returned to the throne room at dusk. Candlelight danced across marble pillars. Her escort stood silent at her side. Council members murmured behind closed doors. She entered with renewed confidence. An advisor bowed deeply to her. She noticed a faint tremor in his hand. Another advisor offered a cordial smile. Lila sensed something off in their greetings. She addressed the room with steady voice. "We learned of a new plot today." The advisor with the trembling hand spoke. "Our scouts saw more cloaked riders." Lila nodded, then studied his face. His gaze flickered toward the windows. She asked him directly, voice firm, "Do you trust these reports?" He hesitated, eyes darting sideways. Her escort stepped forward quietly. He revealed encrypted messages from within. The parchment bore the handwriting of Councilman Thorne. Lila's heart pounded at the name. Councilman Thorne was her father's old ally. She looked at him, voice cold. "Why did you threaten me?" Thorne's jaw clenched in painful conflict. He confessed in a low voice, "I was coerced by my nephew, Marcus." Gasps echoed around the chamber. Marcus, another advisor, paled instantly. Lila turned to Marcus with incredulity. "Why betray our family?" she demanded. Marcus's mask slipped into regret. He whispered, "I sought what I believed was justice." He held up a sealed letter. Its seal was broken and red-stained. He handed it to Lila, trembling. She broke the wax with careful fingers. Inside read a confession from her uncle. He admitted he hid the crown's true heir. Her uncle named himself first in line. Lila's vision blurred with shock. Her escort placed a steady hand on hers. "More lies linger," he warned. She scanned the room, heart racing. Another council member cleared his throat. Madame Evans, the court historian, spoke. "I discovered a forged lineage record." She held up an aged document. It listed Lila's grandmother's secret marriage. That marriage nullified the rival branch's claim. Lila's breath hitched in sudden relief. But then Madame Evans's eyes glistened. "I also saw your grandmother's will." She hesitated, voice cracking with emotion. "It names Marcus's mother as sole heir." Marcus's face twisted in shame and fury. He lunged toward the historian. Her escort intercepted him with swift precision. Guards rushed in, weapons drawn. Madame Evans stood trembling but strong. Lila raised her hand, voice clear. "Stop." Silence fell like heavy velvet. She addressed Marcus softly. "You betrayed family for a false promise." Marcus's shoulders sagged under guilt. Tears welled as he spoke. "I only wanted my mother safe." Lila's eyes softened with understanding. She stepped toward him, voice warm. "That promise was based on lies." She held out her hand. "Help me make things right." Marcus dropped his head in shame. He extended his hand slowly. Her escort watched with cautious hope. Thorne knelt before her now. "Your forgiveness is my only prayer." Lila nodded, heart aching for them all. But then a hidden door slammed open. A masked figure stormed into the room. They wielded a curved dagger in one hand. Chaos erupted in a single breath. Guards cried out, shields clashing. The stranger lunged toward Lila. Her escort flung himself in her path. The dagger sliced his sleeve but missed his wrist. He disarmed the attacker with swift skill. Lila stood frozen in raw horror. The mask fell, revealing Madame Sinclair. Sinclair's eyes blazed with bitter triumph. "You thought you were safe," she spat. She brandished a second dagger. "I shaped every secret you uncovered." Lila staggered back, shock and betrayal. Madame Sinclair revealed her true role. She was the rival branch's matriarch. Sinclair's ambition fueled every scheme. She smiled cruelly through stained tears. "You led them to their doom." She hissed. Lila steadied herself, voice trembling. "We end this now." Sinclair laughed, brandishing both daggers. She lunged once more at Lila. Lila sidestepped with newfound grace. She drew her pistol with steady hands. Sinclair froze, fury and fear clashing. Her escort aimed his weapon to him. Sinclair dropped to her knees, sobbing. "Spare me," she begged. Between gasps, Lila kept her aim unwavering. "You betrayed your own bloodline." She clicked the safety on her pistol. Sinclair trembled under Lila's glare. "I know what it means to lose family," Lila whispered. She lowered her weapon, slowly. "Tell me everything, or face exile." Sinclair looked up, tears streaking her face. Lila's heart thudded in sudden pity. She realized mercy could forge loyalty. Sinclair nodded, voice broken. "I will speak the truth," she vowed. Lila exhaled, tension easing slightly. But in her mind, a new doubt stirred. Who else wore a hidden mask? And how deep did Madame Sinclair's web run? Lila crept along a rooftop at dusk. Wind whipped desert sand into her face. Torchlight flickered from battlements nearby. Her escort signaled toward a distant turret. Shadows shifted among broken stones. Madame Sinclair's coerced guards formed a ring. Their armor clanged under moonlit sky. Lila steadied her pistol with shaking hands. Her heart thundered like war drums. She spotted the crown strapped to Sinclair's belt. Sinclair stood atop a crumbling tower. She held the crown high, voice echoing. "This ends now, princess." Sinclair taunted. A single star winked above the battlements. Lila took a careful breath. Her escort murmured, "On three." They counted silently. 1, 2, 3. Lila fired. The shot rang sharp. The crown clattered from Sinclair's grasp. Sinclair staggered but did not fall. Guards rushed toward Lila at once. Her escort unleashed a flare into the air. Brilliant light dazzled their attackers briefly. Lila tackled Sinclair against Coldstone. They grappled above a sheer drop. Her pistol slipped from her grasp. Sinclair snarled and kicked wildly. Lila caught her foot and twisted. A muffled crack echoed in the night. Sinclair froze, pain flashing in her eyes. Lila seized the fallen crown. She pressed it firmly to her chest. Sinclair gasped, collapsing at Lila's feet. Lila raised her voice, strong and clear. "Stand down or face exile." The guard captain lowered his sword. Others followed suit in tense silence. Her escort joined her at the edge. He extended a hand to Sinclair. Sinclair stared at the crown. Defeated, Lila ordered, "Bind her and bring her in." Guards moved to obey swiftly. A distant rumble shook the parapets. Lightning split the sky in two. Rain began to sluice across sandstone. Lila tightened her grip on the crown. She felt its ancient weight settle. Her escort beckoned toward a hidden stair. They led Sinclair down into darkness. Lila paused at the rooftop's broken parapet. Below stretched an empty courtyard. She counted the paces to safety. Her escort whispered, "Now." Together, they leaped into the shadows. Wind roared as they fell through night. They landed hard, in soft desert sand. Lila gasped, tasting grit on her tongue. Sinclair's muffled cries echoed behind them. Her escort hoisted Lila to her feet. She brushed sand from her pants. Thunder rolled over distant mountains. They sprinted toward the stable's open gate. Horses whinnied in the rain's patter. He vaulted onto a dark stallion. Lila scrambled up behind him. They galloped through slick paddocks. Wooden rails snapped beneath pounding hooves. Sinclair's guards scrambled into pursuit. Lila clutched the crown close to her heart. Rain blurred the desert's harsh lines. Thunder boomed as they cleared. The gate, beyond, an open road stretched west. They rode into the storm's fierce glow. Lila pressed her cheek against his back. Lightning revealed distant city lights. The castle receded into swirling mist. Her escort guided her toward sanctuary. Sinclair's shouts faded in the wind. Lila exhaled, body trembling with relief. Her escort reined in the stallion. He met her gaze with solemn pride. "We made it," he said softly. She nodded, voice husky. "We survived." He offered the crown back to her. She lifted it to moonlight's silver gleam. Its jewels sparkled like trapped stars. She felt destiny's weight settle deeper. Her heart throbbed with triumph and doubt. She whispered into the night air, "This crown belongs to truth." The storm raged around them quietly. They rode toward a new dawn together. Asterisk, asterisk. The storm subsided as dawn crept over the horizon. Lila and her escort slowed their steady canter. They reached a quiet border town at sunrise. Dust settled on the empty plaza. She slipped the crown into a velvet pouch. Her escort studied the horizon with relief. They dismounted before a weathered courthouse. A small crowd gathered under faded flags. Journalists and townsfolk peered curiously. Lila stepped forward, voice steady. "People of Briar Meadow," she began softly. Her escort stood at her side. She raised the pouch high for all to see. "This crown represents our shared truth." Murmurs rippled through the assembly. She presented forged lineage records. Then she revealed her grandmother's will. The crowd gasped at the hidden marriage. She joined the rival branch and her own. Marcus stepped forward, head bowed. He offered Lila his uncle's tribute. Thorn followed, eyes filled with regret. Even Sinclair stood bound but hopeful. Lila nodded in gracious acceptance. "Let justice guide our future," she proclaimed. Guards opened the courthouse doors wide. Inside, they placed the crown on a velvet stand. She removed it, fingertips brushing gold. She set it atop a marble plinth. Light from stained glass bathed it in color. She turned to Marcus with warmth. "You stood for family today," she said. He bowed, tears glinting in sunrise. She embraced him, forgiving his past. The crowd erupted in gentle applause. Children ran forward to touch the plinth. Lila laughed as a boy held her hand. Her escort watched, pride shining in his eyes. Jenna's text buzzed in her pocket. "Saw it live, princess turned queen." She smiled, typing, just beginning. She looked to the town's dusty square. Flowers bloomed in unexpected cracks. A white dove fluttered overhead. Sunlight warmed her face like hope. Her escort joined her on the steps. He bowed with a playful grin. "As your loyal guard," he teased lightly. She offered him a gentle nod. He handed her a single red rose. She tucked it behind her ear. Her heart felt light with possibility. Behind them, the castle's silhouette rose. Its towers shimmered in golden light. She pictured rebuilding its broken halls, uniting her people under truth and trust. She felt her father's watch pulse. Gently, her mother's voice echoed in her mind. "Believe in yourself, always." She inhaled the crisp morning air. The future gleamed like dew on petals. Lila lifted her gaze to the sky. Birdsong rippled through the town softly. She turned back to her escort. "Come," she said, voice full of promise. They walked hand in hand toward home. The crown's weight felt light at last. And as they vanished into the sunlit street, a new era of hope began. Asterisk, asterisk,